today, as you can see, we're going to be making some chandelier glass. Model doll's house chandelier glass that fits onto a homemade chandelier like this. So if you're interested in knowing how to make this and wonder what this could be, stay tuned and all will be revealed. So, you're probably wondering what on earth this could be. You see a mould and you see a shape. Now, this didn't come from the mould. The fake glass chandelier part is actually this stuff. It's a tube that is basically electrician's heat shrink. It's the stuff that anyone that does any soldering or work with electronic components, it's something that people use for covering wires and joints and things that are exposed. It comes in a variety of lengths, a variety of colours, and it's really versatile, cool stuff. So I'll show you now what it does. So I'm going to cut a piece off and I'm going to stick it over this copper wire, and then I'm going to get my lighter and heat it up. And as you can see, I've done a little bit too much there, but you can see that it shrinks down. It shrinks down over that pipe. And it's quite a durable kind of plastic. So it shrinks down quite well. It's normally 2-to-1 ratio, but it can probably be more or less, depending on what you're after, really. This is just the standard stuff available on eBay for electronic supplies. This is, I think it's about 10mm diameter, but I'm not sure because it was a long time ago when I got this. I'll find the details and put it in the description if you need to find that, and I'll link to where I got it from. But there we go. That's what it's basically made of. It's this. Shrink tubing, or heat shrink sleeving. Now that's got you thinking, hasn't it? So how do we get from that to this? We're going to need a mould. And this is the mould that we use. So the blue things that you saw at the beginning, it was this. You have two halves, and when two halves are together, this is 3D printed, by the way, and if you wanted this, you can download it from the link below, and it's completely free. So you basically put the two halves together, and then you mix a little bit of silicone, a little bit of moulding silicone, and you pour that in, and when it's dry, you get one of these, a little rubbery bottle shape. Now that forms the basis for the shape of your glass cylinder or your glass chandelier. It's very bendy, very soft silicone. The trick to this really is to remember to put soap on the outside of the rubbery silicone part when you put it into the sleeving. It just gives it that lubrication that you need when it comes to removing it. I'll demonstrate this in a moment. So just pour your silicone in there, and it's as easy as that. You just get one of these out. And you can see by looking at that you can tell that that's something that came from that shape. Now, this can be a tricky bit because you need to cut a piece to about the right size and then heat it up. And heating it up can be a bit tricky because you're going to be using a lighter or a flame, and you can hurt yourself if you're not careful. So be extra careful with this. It's not for the amateurs. I'm sure you'll be fine. You could leave it on a metal surface and heat it up that way. I've burnt my fingers many times doing this. So here I am, I'm just holding it with my fingers, and I'm carefully, very carefully, heating up a little section at a time. So I've placed the former inside the sleeve, and we can see that the heat is shrinking the material. Don't worry about it looking too crinkled, it will get more shapely as it heats up. And you can do all sorts of shapes. It doesn't have to be this shape, it can be all kinds of shapes. But this tended to be a kind of shape that was easier to remove from the sleeving afterwards. I've forgotten to put soap on this. Now, because I've forgotten to put soap on this, you can see that it's a little bit tricky to get out. So I'm going to wait for it to cool just a little bit before I poke that out of there. Now you can use anything to poke this out really. You can use the end of a screwdriver, you can use the back of a brush. I'm using a watercolour paintbrush because it's roughly the right size and it's smooth. Ideally we want to take this out in one piece and reuse it again. It's probably better to cut the ends, trim the ends while it's in this state, because it makes it easier to get this out of. So just a little trim, and it should help with the removal of that rubber. As you can see, it's coming out. But without lubrication, it does tear a bit. But you get the idea. And as you can see, that's one we've just made from that. Quite nice, quite easy. I think it gives a nice effect. You can use this technique for all kinds of things. You can make fuselages for planes, you can make all sorts of things. It doesn't look perfectly clear like glass, but it does kind of emulate the dirty glass of a chandelier. So, if you've enjoyed this, if you've got something out of this, if it was worthwhile and you think it was interesting, why not subscribe? Hit that like button, subscribe, and I will then know that you will want more videos about this, and I will probably show you how to wire it, how to electroplate it. So we've shown you how to make the form, make the thing out of copper pipe, and I've shown you how to make the glass chandeliers. So let's make another one of these and take it a little bit further. Thanks for watching.